It finally happened. We got a gameplay trailer for Chapter 3, and it's only the first one. We're supposed to get a second one! A second one! Since the game is delayed, this gives theorists the opportunity to rip this trailer apart frame by frame to try to figure out what the story is and what we can expect before anyone can even load up the title screen. That's me. I'm a theorist, and today we're going to be ripping this whole trailer apart and we're bringing back the pins. If you're watching this, I'm going to assume you've already seen the trailer, right? If you haven't, like, literally go watch it, like, right now. Alright, did you watch it? It's really good, right? I'm still going to break this trailer down so that way you have context as to why I think certain moments within the trailer are important and tell us a lot as to what we can expect in Chapter 3. Before we get into this, I just want to say thank you so much for watching my video. And of course, if you enjoy this video, go ahead and give it a big ol' thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos and content from me, go ahead and click that subscribe button and you'll never miss a video and it'll show up on your feed. So with all that said, let's jump into it. The trailer begins with the Smiling Critters cartoon, and if you don't already know all the lyrics to this song, then that means you have more of a life than I do. The cartoon is then interrupted with an emergency alert system that is given out to all Playtime Co. employees, and that is a sound that would make anyone's heart poop its pants. Let's go ahead and put a pin in that. We then get to see Home Sweet Home, the sleeping dorms, and of course the gas mask. There's a voiceover that's already telling us what we know. Yes, Catnap is a little crazy, totally worships Prototype. I've covered this so many damn times. We're not pinning this. We're then shown a cluster of toys that have been haphazardly tied to a piece of scaffolding. Oh yeah, we're definitely pinning this one. We then cut to a toy that is chained up in a jail cell, and yeah, another pin. You know it. We finally get to see the purple hand attachment in action before we cut to a creepy image of Huggy Wuggy on a television. All right, this isn't anything important or anything to pin. I just want to note that I kind of find this image a little funny. The artwork is amazing. It's also giving classic 2010s creepypasta vibes, or like the kind of picture you'd see in a thumbnail of "Don't play Poppy Playtime at 3 a.m. We see a few more clips of some future electric puzzles, the use of the gas mask, and of course Poppy telling us we need to seek revenge, all while riding on the back of Kissy Missy. The fact that Kissy Missy is not wearing a baby Bjorn with Poppy riding in it is a missed opportunity on Mop's part, and I'm a little disappointed. Oh yeah, we need to put a pin in this. Kind of important. The trailer concludes, of course, with the Catnap silhouette. Alright, so we got our 4 pins here, and the reason why I picked these scenes out is because I think they're going to play a really important part in Chapter 3's narrative, along with the narrative for the entire franchise. Our first pin is right at the beginning of the trailer with the EAS system going off. The most important detail here is, of course, the date and time. If you remember from the Kissy Missy relocation video we got earlier this year, you'll see that, well, the time it was recorded was August 8th, 1995 at around 11 a.m. This, of course, lines up with the EAS system alert going off, and we now know that this was in fact the hour of joy when everything at Playtime Co. went to hell. On top of all that, this happened around 11 a.m., which means there's a lot of people who didn't get their lunch that day. Worst Tuesday ever. The EAS system is actually quite grim when you look at it in context. This means Playtime Co. knew how lethal their experiments were and were prepared for a day where the giants would kill everyone. It is likely employees only had a short amount of time to escape the factory before the doors would auto-lock in order to contain the giants and bury their secrets and the bodies. This next pin is the Macabre Shrine. It's not the Prototype, and there is a lot of evidence here that debunks that theory. For starters, this isn't an elaborate being. It's just a bunch of toys and a skeleton tied to scaffolding with no connection to each other. There's no rhyme or reason for their placements, no gears, wires, connections, or anything that would make this a functional being. We don't see the Prototype's arm here or any other organic material or artificial that matches that of the Prototype. The part of the shrine that interests me the most is the skeleton with its wrist bound. We finally have human remains, which I feel like has taken way too long to get to, considering the Hour of Joy was really an hour of carnage and death. Now, I don't think this is anyone important or anyone that we've met yet, simply because they are just wearing a hard hat. Now, if they were wearing some sort of lab coat or something, this would be an entire different theory here. The positioning of the remains inside of PJ's mouth is oddly specific compared to how the rest of this thing is haphazardly put together. The scary part is the fact that they are bound at the wrist. which means it is likely this person was tied up before they died. It's possible a more intelligent toy with fingers like the prototype, Mommy Longlegs, or someone like Poppy, tied this person up along with the others and held them hostage, possibly even torturing them before they were devoured. This is the second time we've seen this abomination featured in the trailers, so it must hold some level of importance to the story and the game. We just don't know what it's supposed to be and why it's so important, so I think this is something we should keep in the back of our minds when we load up Chapter 3. Alright, let's talk about DogDay. We see him twice in this trailer. One where he is suspended behind bars, probably the jail cell from the CCTV cameras, and then we can see him chasing us up a slide. Now the devil is in the details here. This DogDay is not your typical giant Playtime Co. brand of horror. If you look closely at the thumbnail image and where we can see him strung up in the trailer, we can clearly see stitching, and he lacks the fluffy fur like his purple feline counterpart. I don't believe this is a bigger body because the quality does not match up to the others. It's not even an experiment before Catnap because even Huggy Wuggy, who was made before Catnap, is made of higher quality fabrics and materials. I think this is a hand-stitched costume being worn by a survivor of the Hour of Joy. This person made their own DogDay costume, possibly as a survival method to not be caught by the prototype or others. It's also possibly a child who's grown up because it has been 10 years and they made themselves a costume so that way they'd be better liked by Catnap. Also, we don't know the full context of the scene where he is crawling up the slide. It's possible he is following us somewhere like an escort mission, or maybe he is chasing us. He sees us as food and might have turned to cannibalism to survive. But Pixel, what if they turn survivors and children into bigger bodies after the Hour of Joy? Considering how complicated and high risk the surgery is, as documented by Harley Sawyer, I don't find this very likely. The prototype is intelligent, but on a basic level of comprehension, planning, and critical thinking. Nothing has been stated within the lore that he is a surgical genius, but they did say he can put clocks together. He should totally open up his own clock repair business. Alright, we're finally on the last pin regarding Kissy Missy and Poppy herself. First, I just want to say, girls' night! So we now know that Poppy is alive, she's okay, and of course Kissy is definitely not aggressive in any way. In fact, they've teamed up and Poppy wants to essentially kill the toys in the factory along with the prototype. Like, Poppy has gone full revenge mode. Put a weapon in her hands and I guarantee you she'd go John Wick on some. Kissy, on the other hand, is just living in her own world here. Poppy is hell-bent on revenge. She says the prototype must die, and we need to get payback on those who tortured her, who tortured us, the player. Now this feels a little vague, so I would like to explore some possible meanings behind this statement. The first one being, the monsters who tortured us would be along the lines of Huggy Wuggy, Mommy Longlegs, and now Catnap. And over those years, those bigger toys also tortured the small ones, eating them, which of course would explain all the dead toys we see around the game in the factory. But what if Poppy isn't talking about the toys? What if, since we were a previous employee at Playtime Co., we were also tortured? What if we were part of those experiments somehow? What if we were an orphan who grew up in the play care and was later hired on as an employee? This statement alone is raising more questions, and I'm hoping it will lead into revealing who us, the player, is in the game and why our role is so important. Poppy is dead set on killing the prototype and she needs our help in order to achieve her goal. This is setting up a new objective for us as to not find the missing employees, not to escape the factory, but to destroy 1006. But if we kill him, what then? The toys certainly can't be free in the real world, as that would cause major chaos knowing that toys are possessed by the minds and souls of children and employees. Not to mention, they would likely be held in a government facility, imprisoned and tested on for the rest of their days. They also certainly don't seem happy being trapped in a dark factory for the last decade. My theory for the end of this game, after the prototype has been destroyed, is that a good ending would be to destroy the factory and all those that have survived within it over the last 10 years. Poppy Playtime was never a happy story. People have been trapped in toy bodies in an underground facility, watching those around them torn apart. They couldn't live outside the factory since the entire BBI project was a secret from the public. I think a satisfying ending would be to destroy the entire facility, and depending on who we are and what role we played as an employee, is to go down with the ship to atone for any of our sins. While this trailer was meant to showcase the gameplay, it also provides us hints to the story. It'll probably be a while before we will even see another gameplay trailer. However, this one does an amazing job at showcasing what we can expect both gameplay-wise and where the story arc is heading towards. Visually, this chapter is already looking gorgeous and really setting up the tone for this game. Visually, this chapter is a step up from the first two. This trailer shows us that mascot horror doesn't always have to be kid-friendly, and taking a darker turn is definitely going to bring a bit of nuance and fresh air to the genre. So what do you guys all think of this gameplay trailer? What do you think of my theories? What theories do you have? Please share them down below. I love seeing what everyone has to say about this. I'm very excited. I know it's gonna suck kind of waiting for a little bit for the next chapter to release. It's definitely gonna be worth the wait based off of this trailer alone. I want to thank you all again so much for watching, and of course, I'll see you all in the next video.